Hey, so a lot of people ask, what's my strategy, etc., and things like that. Because a lot of the things that I do on here are psychology, get you where you need to get to, etc., in your trading. But then in the background, people are saying, well, how do you actually trade? And the reason I don't do a lot of strategy videos is because there's 10 to a dozen. There's so many on the internet and so many on YouTube that one, you'll probably get confused, and they're all there. However, if I give you a strategy, me and you can trade next to each other in the same room and you could still get it wrong. Why? Because of the variable. And the variable is you. And I did a video on that, the last video about the black box effect. You are the black box. So today I thought, well, we've touched on that. Let me touch on the simple way of how I trade or what I do before I get into a trade. How do I organize my day? How do I organize my pre-analysis when I come into the markets, and what do I actually look for? Now, what I've decided to do is I've decided to put our own kind of twist and our own name on what we're doing, because when people ask, I just say, well, a free candle reversal from a major level, etc., etc., etc. That completely goes over people's heads. So I've come up with a name and I've called it the precision stack system. Okay, strategy as you want to call it. I like to call systems, but we'll call it a strategy for right now. Precision stack. And how that works is, at the end of the day, every strategy that you're going to do, you're going to need foundations and blocks, etc., etc. Hence why we're going to be stacking each and everything on top of each other, so we get a very, very clear visual on how we're going to get into the trade. So buckle up, welcome on board. Make sure you get your coffee, your cortado, oat milk, whatever your fancy, even a matcha or some Pellegrino water. And I'm just going to show you on this short video what I do before I get into trades and what I look for. So as you can see on the screen right now, this is my precision stack. We've come up with the name, so if anybody starts using it in the future, you know where it's come from. And why is it called a precision stack? Well, basically, we are trading from very precise levels, and this controls all the emotions. Okay, you're never going to be able to suppress emotions. I speak about this all the time on my videos, but what you are going to be able to do is be aware and control of them. Whether someone is trying to provoke you on the outside world, whether you get bad news in the morning, whether the kids are going crazy, whether a hater is going to come and try and destroy your day, you have the emotional intelligence to deal with these types of things. And in trading, you're going to need a hell of a lot of that. That is for sure. So how's it going to work? Well, initially, we're going to stack our confluences. All right. That's the first thing. So number one is we are going to, let's get this over here. Is that going to allow me to move it? Number one is going to be, let's get rid of that. We don't need that. Let's get rid of that. Can we delete that? No, let's get rid of that. Is going to be our frame stack. Now, our frame stack is very, very simple. You've heard me talk about it all the time. We're going to trade from precise zones. And what I like to do is higher term time frame levels. So I want to see where price has respected before or broken through. And of course, I can use the book map, but that's not for today. To have a look, see if there's liquidity there. But I want to trade where it's high probability. What's the point in me trading where it's a low probability? When I was a footballer, the coaches always used to say, where's the highest probability that you're going to be able to score a goal? Because I was a striker stroke winger. Well, in and around the 18-yard box, more than likely in the 6-yard box. So the more I get in the 6-yard box, the higher the probability I'm going to score a goal. All right. It's very, very simple. So the higher the probability in the zone where you're going to be looking trades from, the higher the probability that the market and other participants in the market, the big players, are going to look to reverse the market, because we are reversal traders. So number one is the frame stack. What's the frame? How are we going to build something? Just like a marquee, just like a picture frame. What's the frame? The frame is higher term time frame levels. I look for previous daily high, previous daily low, 4-hour SR flips, Fibonacci's, etc., things like that. But I'm not going to go over to them right now. I'm just giving you the foundations. Number two then is what we're going to be looking for is then my candle stack. So number one, we've got our frame stack. Number two is our candle stack. Once we get to framework stack, my candle stack is going to be a pattern that I'm looking for. For me, you've seen me talk about, I like the free candle formation. I'm looking for a shift candle to allow me to take note that the buyers or the sellers are coming back into the market. Okay. Now, again, like I said, I would look at bookmap and I would look to see if liquidity has been taken. However, that is not necessarily a needed tool for a brand new trader. So the candle stack for me is a 3-candle formation. That's grade A for me. Yes, we may have a 4-candle. Yes, we may linger and then we might get a 5th candle. But for me, to keep it simple today, I'm looking for a 3-candle reversal pattern. Once I've got that, that means I have 2 zones or 2 checklists of two points of my checklist ticked. Then I'm going to go and look for the flow stack. Now, number 3 is the flow stack. What time is it happening? Is it in my trading session? Am I aware that is in my trading session? Or am I chasing it, say, in the middle of the night in the Asia session? Or am I trading it in the first 15 minutes in the New York session? That is not my flow. My flow is going to be what time is this happening? Now, I like minute 50 and minute 10. So the 20 minutes, the 10 minutes before and 10 minutes after the hour, we have volume and we have liquidity come into the market. So if I find that I get a setup from my level, stack 1, frame stack, number 2, have I got the candle formation, which is the candle stack? And number 3 so far, is it in my timing window? Maybe it's the first 15 or 20 minutes of London because we look for an Asia high. If it's in and around that, and maybe it's like 10 to 12 or 10 past 12 UK time, PM, because the liquidity comes in, then I've got my number 3. Okay, so keep in mind that it's a stack by the numbers. Number 4, then do I have confluences? What else do I have at that level? So yes, I may have a higher term time frame level for my frame stack, but is there any volume profile there? Is there a value area high or a value area low? Is there a point of control? Is it just a normal SR flip? Is there a TGP, which is a golden pocket? If there is, super. I'm going to add that stack. Now, that's not crucial, but it's a good stack to add because it builds confluence. Then I'm going to go on to my risk stack. Now, what's the risk going to be? Am I happy with the risk? Am I happy risking this capital? And how am I going to manage this trade if I do get into this trade? So if I've got a massive wick because there was a massive liquidity grab, and that wick might be 50 points, do I really want to risk 50 points? Or shall I wait for a better entry? That's something that you need to look at. If you think the entry is there and you've got the 50 points and you know what, that's my entry, you've got to risk downsizing. So the risk and the trade management is absolutely crucial when it comes to your trading. And then the final point of my precision stack strategy is going to be my execution, which is my checklist and my rules. So without going off crazy, what's my checklist? Well, the checklist is what's been below me, what's been putting me onto the level that I now need to get to. The framework, the frame stack, the candle stack, the flow stack, the confluence stack, the risk stack, and now it's time for me to execute on my stack. Now, what you've got here is a six-step precision stack. That is a grade A setup. That's a grade A setup. All right. Yesterday we had it where we came down to that low on the NQ. We then had our formation. So that's number 2. I was in the flow. We had a nice retest. We moved to the upside. Perfect execution, grade A trade. And everybody else who managed to take that in the community. Absolutely excellent. So I just wanted to show you and break down what my trading plan is and what are my steps. Now, I've traded this way now predominantly for, I would say, 2 years this way, because I niched it down from before. I used to trade crypto. And now we've decided we've put it into a kind of flow chart so you can really, really understand what it means. So number 1, higher term time frame. That's your frame stack. Number 2, candle stack. How are you getting into the trade? Yours may be a 2-candle bullish or bearish engulfing. Yours may be on the 15-second or the 1 hour or the 1 minute inverted fair value gap or whatever you want. But you need the candle stack. Your flow stack is it the right time of the day for you to be trading? You should know when you should be trading. Is it more confluence when we come to the confluence stack? Are you getting anything else within that zone that really, really makes you want to jump into that trade? Is your risk correct? Because remember, this is what I tell the students. You are a risk manager. You are involved and in control of this pot of capital. And then finally, your execution stack. Now it's time for you to press. Now everything's been hit. There's your confirmations. There's your clarity. There's your confidence. And there is your precision stack strategy. I will see you all on the next one.